Hello everybody and welcome to What's in the Box. Myself and Jerry are going to be looking at more Fate of a Nation, and in this one we're looking at the Jordanians, and specifically the Jordanian Centurions, because nothing beats a little bit of British engineering out in the desert doing its thing.
And it's really interesting because it's such a break from the other Arab nations. Every other Arab nation in this conflict is all Soviet supplied, Soviet trained, and then you come in with the Royal Jordanian Army, which is all British. Yeah. So it's just it's a really unique army in this little sort of period.
And the British, as far as I know, still supply the Jordanians. Yeah. They bought a load of Challenger 1s off us when we switched to Challenger 2, and then ripped the turret off and put a better one on with the American 120 on it, or the Rheinmetall 120 on it. It's like, yeah, fair enough, that works. So in this one, we get 5 Centurions and we get 2 M42 Dusters, which are a very unusual little anti-aircraft vehicle, and I find them rather cute because it's essentially a Walker Bulldog with all its armor taken off and an open turret with a couple of cannons on it. Now, the main difference between a lot of the other kits is that this one is entirely resin and metal. So, and we get a little build sheet as well.
Oh, yeah. The most important thing, the super complicated build sheet.
I'll throw it under that one this time.
There we go. So that's your sheet, your 2 vehicles. That's how you build them.
Pretty straightforward as usual.
Yeah, the only real options you have there is on the Centurion itself, with the choice between the
20 pounder and the 105. Of course, if you're going to do Jordanians or Centurions, always put the 105 on, because the 20 pounder would be essentially useless. I don't care what they say in the rules, it was useless. Right, let's crack one of these open.
Yep.
And go ahead, Jer. Let's see what you can do.
Let's see what we've got in here. So the interesting thing here is construction-wise. So resin body and turret. Just looking to see, sometimes you get variations in turrets, but they seem to be all standard, so not much in the way of those. Big chunky track sections.
I think the left and rights are in different places.
Separate
I think
places?
that's,
Oh, that's better. So, again, got that. Super shiny from old release. But
give it a bath.
Yeah, give it a bath. But they're all notched as well, so assembly is relatively straightforward. If you can't put it on, it's because you've got it on the wrong side. But it is almost as simple as that.
Yep.
2 sides go on, your turret goes on, and then after that, you're just requiring
guns and hatches.
Yep. Little plastic tank commander sprue, standard Battlefront. 3 half out, 3 half in.
Yep.
And our metal bits, I'm going to go out in a limb and say are below there. Oh my word. Yeah. Just going to look at this. There's all the metal parts. So 2 gun options, which I'm going to say I pulled out 2 of the exact same.
Yep. The other one's like leaning there.
Yeah. So he is.
That one. So you need to pull him into shot. Yeah. There you go. So you get the 20 pounder, which is the one on screen left, and the 105, which is on the other side. And you can tell the difference immediately between them, because one's got that, which is a bore evacuator on it, and the 20 pounder doesn't. Simple as. And beyond that, the only other thing you're getting are crew hatches, which are teeny tiny parts, which we'll just show on the build table, I think.
And we also get transfers.
So,
and anybody who's built British
will more or less understand.
Will recognise those symbols. So it's sort of the standard British tank markings. Which the Jordanians stuck with. Which they stuck with, and then occasionally overlaid with some Arabic writing. And again, more Arabic here in the white on the bottom.
Yeah. All pretty good, pretty straightforward.
Straightforward.
One of my favourite post-war tanks of all time. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you came to the end of the war, and Centurion was just coming out, and it only had, was it 17 pounder was the initial model, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is great! This is great." That gun is now outdated. Like, oh, okay. Let's put a 20 pounder in. Like, that's great. That works really, really well. And then, 15 years later, they were like, no, it needs a bigger gun now. It's like, right, well, we can put a 105 in. That works too.
Just improvise, adapt, overcome. It's just keep upscaling.
Yeah, it's one of the longest serving tanks of its era.
Yeah.
I think it finished with which army did it finish with its service career? But it was like it had an active service history of somewhere like 40 years.
Yeah.
But then
when you've got such a good setup in the actual tank itself, and normally the only reason to replace a tank is because there's a failing, you can't upgun it because the turret's too small or there's not enough room for the crew. And when they had it that nailed on to begin with, it meant it was always going to have the longevity of being able to be changed and tweaked and brought up to date every time, rather than having to completely chuck away a serviceable tank simply for firepower or whatever happened to be.
I mean, you see it when the British have taken it as far as they wanted with putting a 105 on it, and then the Israelis got it and went, right, it needs a diesel engine. So they just whipped out that Meteor and just stuck a diesel in it, and it just kept going and going and going. And it's not the most heavily armored, it's not the fastest. In some cases, it didn't have the best gun. But as the Israelis proved in Yom Kippur, if you have a decent tank crew with it, utilizing all its advantages over the Soviet-built stuff, they were going to win. Like, it became a bit hairy in places, but the likes on the Golan Heights and stuff, where 2 or 3 troops of Centurions were just blatting away for ages because the Soviet stuff just couldn't fire back.
Yeah.
Crazy. Anywho.
Here's the
Duster. If I can open the box. The Duster is the same layout as our Centurions.
Yep.
Resin and metal.
And what delightful pieces of resin they are.
Mm-hmm.
So, resin hull. And again, a ton of detail on this. A little bit of stowage at the back. And very minimal flashing.
Mm-hmm.
Although, just as I tilt that way, you're not going to be able to pick this up. I can actually see light coming through between
there's a little
the inside, so where it's relatively thin.
Yeah.
But once the track's on there, you're not going to have any problems with that.
No.
This beautiful bucket AA mount,
which
is such an insane shape.
And has the two crew in it.
2 crew in it, which is something that Battlefront do sometimes, where they'll leave just the heads off and the heads will be a separate metal sprue, and have the actual crew integral to the cast.
Yep.
Which they've done
they
again
are in
because
this case.
There's the heads.
Yep.
And then all we really need are 2 big chunky metal tracks,
which are quite chunky.
Yeah.
But again,
I like the metal and resin heft.
Yeah.
I like to be able to get value for money. Those ones are beveled. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, to make sure that they go on the right side, and they are on the wrong side.
Yeah, it's rear wheel drive.
So that's why the bevel's there, to make sure you do that right.
Yep.
So yeah, which is delightful. You'll be able to see that in a second anyway. And we also have
the guns.
The gun, which is
nice twin cannon. I can't remember what caliber they are.
I'm not sure.
I think they might be 40, so they may be just rapid fire Bofors or something like that.
Oh, and another set of heads. In case you want variation on your head. Variation in 15mm heads. Say nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You all know what I'm thinking, but I'm not going to say it.
No, don't say it.
What's the point? That scale, they all look like pins.
Yep. Right, built vehicles then.
Yes.
Let's have a look at what they're like once you put the things together. So let's start with the Duster. Quite a tidy little vehicle. It's very tall though compared to the Centurion. It's a lot taller. But you can see all the components and stuff in there fit rather nice, and the heads and so on. The tracks are a bit of a
mare.
They're a bit of an issue, but they're not serious. As long as the tank sits stable enough without wobbling too much, I'm pretty happy with that. On to the Centurion. I mean, come on, it's a Centurion.
Yeah.
You should not have a reason to dislike Centurions, regardless of whose army they're in. They're just a gorgeous vehicle, well designed, well laid out, and in this case, well represented by the Battlefront kit. So of course I put the 105 on, because if you don't put a 105 on a Centurion,
you've done it wrong.
You've done it wrong. You've tanked wrong. You've tanked incorrectly. But as most of the Fate of a Nation stuff that we've been looking through could do with a mini rulebook, could do with the cards
Yeah.
included in it, but that may change. We don't know.
Yeah, yeah. This works out to be sort of mid 30 point wise.
Yeah, so it's a bit on the lower scale.
It's on a lower scale compared to some of the other. Well, I would say it's equal. Most of the Arab forces seem to be coming in around that mid 30 to 40 point.
Yep. And that Israeli box.
The Israeli box just seems to be way up there, but that's the McGacks in there for you.
Yeah,
so
that's what happens.
That's what's pushed that up.
Yeah, it's what happens when you throw some real heavy hitters into it. So.
But a very decent core of a force there, and yeah, it's got a lot going for it.
Buy some infantry, some aircraft if you can.
I think it's crying out for aircraft.
Yeah.
Every force is crying out for aircraft.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, we're quite pleased with it. I'm pleased with it because it's Centurions.
Of course you are.
Yeah. Love me some Centurions. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think in the comments below. Thanks very much for watching, and we will see you again very soon.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now, and be sure to check out beastsofwar.com for the latest gaming news and gaming Let's Plays. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click